Hello once again, folks. If you're with us, this is Customizing the Clone Wars, episode 18. And I am your host, as always, Peak Obi-Wan from Peak Obi-Wan Custom Creations on Facebook. And along with me, I have my co-host, or I should say co-hosts, the dynamic duo, father and son team, Darth, Daddy, and Elias. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. Doing really well, actually.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, I was just really sick. I'm starting to get better. So, yeah.
Good. On the mend. Very good. Very good. Well, are you guys ready to talk Senate Spy?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's jump right into it. I will read the little blurb. The episode is called Senate Spy. It's episode 4 of season 2, and it's the Jedi have recruited Padme to spy on her old flame, Senator Rush Clovis, who they suspect is working with the Separatists. When Padme travels with Clovis and a disguised Anakin on a secret mission to Cata Nemoidia, she becomes caught up in Clovis's illegal plots with Senator Lot Dodd. What do you think of that?
I think it was one of the cooler episodes, just showing, some of the hiccups that, exist in Anakin and Padme's relationship.
Right, yeah. And this episode was really awesome because it was based on a movie done by Alfred Hitchcock in 1946 called Notorious, and I just thought that was great. One of the reasons because they didn't. Did you know that they did not fire a single shot in this, or they didn't, ignite a single lightsaber? Isn't that something?
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Very passive episode. Only it wasn't. Lots of poisoning.
Yeah. Can you see that there that I'm sharing?
Yeah, we can. Yep.
Yeah, so like I said, this had Cary Grant in it, although Cary Grant was the Anakin character. I suppose Claude Rains was the Rush Clovis character, so kind of loosely based on it. As you watch the film, I know you've seen it yourself. You were saying that.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I think last time I saw it, Elias was probably an infant. I have it in my collection, though. It makes me kind of want to watch it again now after we maybe film the episode before I pass out for the night.
Yeah, it's a cool movie. It's an old movie, but it has a lot to do with like secrets and is it the Russian, some kind of Russian mobster or something like that?
I don't. It might be a World War II.
Yeah, something about secret.
But it's been a while, so I'd have to look through it again.
Yeah. Well, folks, if you haven't seen our show, we talk about the Clone Wars. This is a show that aired from 2008 to 2013, and we make customs along the way, right?
Yeah, we just try to make a lot of the figures that Hasbro didn't have the resources or the time to get to, or might not even been in their focus at all, but it kind of ended up on our radar, and we felt like we wanted it in our own collections, so we made it happen.
Right. And there is just not enough time to make everybody, is there? But I definitely want to take the time to make as many people as possible, right?
Oh, yeah. When I was looking and watching this episode, I saw 4 Padmes, 4 different versions of Padme in different outfits. And I really wanted to try and make one for this episode, but with school shopping and everything, it just didn't happen. I only had Friday off before the episode came around, and the weekend I had, prior, we were at my parents' visiting family and stuff, so it just didn't happen. But there's definitely some cool Padme outfits in this that I wouldn't mind seeing, in action figure format sometime in the future.
Right. I would like to get to some more Padmes too, man. She is one of the coolest characters, Luke and Leia's mom, right?
Oh, yeah. She was such a strong female role model. I mean,
yeah.
Not only was she great in the Senate seat, but, as you'll see in future episodes that we'll get to later, She was great with a blaster. You know, she was able to hold her own. I mean, we got to really see that in Attack of the Clones when, you know, Anakin and Obi-Wan is still sitting down there in handcuffs. Padme's already halfway up the pole, picking locks, and, you know, she's way ahead of them, and, you know, they have Jedi training.
I gotcha. Yeah. Well, let's jump into this thing, shall we?
Sure.
All right. So here comes the Easter egg, or not the Easter egg, the fortune cookie. Let's talk the fortune cookie. It says, a true heart should never be doubted. And whose heart are we talking about, Elias?
Lovis's? Or am I an idiot?
No. I think it's essentially about the relationship between Padme and Anakin. So I don't know. I think it would probably be
Padme?
Yeah, I think it would probably be Padme, to be honest, because Anakin is just this is an episode that really starts to test Anakin. Like you said when we first started, this is a real stumbling block for Anakin, which is just hilarious because it gives him more dimension. You know, I love that. I love that about it. Don't you?
Oh yeah, he was extremely jealous in this episode about a guy that she used to date prior to their own relationship, and we know how young he was when that relationship started. So I mean, she had to have been a teenager when she was dating Clovis. When you think about it,
right?
You know, she couldn't have been that old, and you know, for him to get so twisted. But for me, I was more interested in Padme's reaction during this because she was playing head games. She was using his words against him. She was being manipulative, and she was kind of being spiteful and vengeful toward Anakin in this.
Yeah, for once, you know, he was telling her what to do, and she wouldn't have it, would she?
No, but at the same time, you know, she was, you know, at one point he was like, you know, it's times of war, like exceptions have to be made, you know, I'm paraphrasing, of course.
Yeah.
And then, you know, later on, she uses that to manipulate the situation and kind of like take a stab at him and puts herself in a line of fire, almost like in a way of like getting back at him for saying that, you know, earlier on.
Yeah, I agree. And she's so
she was a little it kind of shows that she has her unhealthy side as well.
Yeah, the politics are really starting to turn her a little crazy, right?
Yeah, and she, you know, I think, you know, the fact that he has demands of the Jedi and his responsibilities as a Jedi, you could see are kind of wearing on her, and she's like, I just want a husband who's present. I'm sick to hear always running off. Like every time, you know, your comlink goes off and the Jedi want you, and she wants to be the priority there. And, you know, this is the first time you're kind of seeing that maybe she's having regrets about the decisions that she made as far as getting involved with the Jedi.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can see this picture if is it sharing there?
Oh, yeah, it is.
You can see kind of her longing, you know, like this is the beginning of the show, and this is her her little balcony, and this is how we start the episode. And here comes Anakin, and she's just completely overjoyed. And one of the things I wanted to talk about right away, like I said in the beginning of the episode, if you haven't seen this, we talk about customs. So I thought I would jump right into the first custom. And look how shiny that 3PO is. It doesn't look cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the sculpt that they had for the Clone Wars action figure of C-3PO.
Yeah. And I did too. I think that is such a great figure that they made. But he really had kind of a dull finish.
It did.
And I felt like we needed a really exciting one. So what I did is I bought this kind of spray paint. It's a Krylon spray paint. And I went and I repainted the 3PO, but with a gold finish. So it's a little bit brighter. What do you think of that?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you have to tape them off before you painted them?
Well, no, I didn't. I just sprayed the whole thing, and then I just painted over. I just painted over it again,
Okay.
in the waist and in the eyes. So unfortunately, I lost the eyes. You know how they have those the glowing feature.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the see-through, like
yeah.
translucent.
But I feel this still works, and so I called it Gold Ron Deco.
Nice.
It's definitely shinier, but I don't
Yeah.
think I got enough coats on there. I did this once before with a Build-A-Droid and another Clone Wars 3PO, but I feel like this is the one that I got right.
Yeah.
It had
I think it was good.
Yeah, appreciate it. And there's the example. If you can see that one there, there's the difference between the two 3POs. What we got was on the left-hand side. And
You made the one that's like the original. You made it look so lifeless. Why'd you do that? He's like looking down. He's like all like.
He's all depressed that he's not as shiny.
Yeah, he's in awe, isn't he, Elias? He's like, wow, look at that deco.
Yeah.
That's sharp. That's so sharp. Yeah. So that was my first custom I thought I'd share. But back to the balcony, that's actually the balcony that we see from the Revenge of the Sith, the movie.
Yeah. When Obi-Wan finds Padme and tells her all about how Anakin's a bad person.
Yeah, he's terrible. You remember that part in Revenge of the Sith where he's playing?
Oh, look, he brought a pizza.
Yeah, he's playing the Game Boy. You remember that? But back to this image that I'm sharing. It actually said, if you look at it on top there in the airbrush, it actually says sushi. It says sushi on top there. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And then
I love sushi.
Yeah, on the side there it says warm.
Shout out to all those sushi chefs. Keep working at your job. It's awesome. I love sushi. Everybody should. If you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Well, apparently he got some sushi to bring home on his trip. He got sidetracked, and I think his freighter blew up or something like that. So they're talking about all kinds of different things, and he calls it home, and she's overjoyed that he calls this place home, this apartment of hers, even though he probably doesn't live there most of the time. He has to live at the Jedi Temple. And here they are just chatting away and trying to have a romantic night together. And his comm goes off, right? And so he basically says, I've been ducking them all night, basically. And
didn't he say something like 7 clicks, which I would assume is like 7 hours?
Yeah, 7 clicks at least. At least he's been putting them off all day, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
He's been putting them off all day.
I'm curious what excuse he gave him. I was just really long nap, or
yeah, really long nap, or he got caught under some gun dark or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's like you were saying, it was starting to get to her. She got a little upset because he had to leave. He had to cut their night short, and she was not happy about that.
Well, it seemed like he was probably away for a good amount of time, and she's probably like, finally he's home.
Yeah.
And he's home for what? Probably a little over 7 hours, and he's already leaving again.
Yeah. So let's move on. So he finally goes to the Jedi Temple. Here is our Easter egg. Do you find anything interesting, Elias, about this room here?
It was in Revenge of the Sith.
It sure was. That is our Easter egg. Check that out. It's the same exact room. You can see Anakin up there from Revenge of the Sith. This is what they call their Jedi War Room. So one of the things that's really cool about this episode is the connections with Revenge of the Sith.
That room is actually in a lot more of the Clone Wars.
I know.
Spoiler alert. Clone Wars. Clone Wars has been canceled for a while, so not really a spoiler.
Yep.
That 2-episode arc in season 3, the last 2 episodes, when Ahsoka gets captured by the Trandoshan hunting syndicate group of people. Remember Anakin? He was like standing in front of that very holographic projector, staring. at the galaxy.
Yep. And he's pondering, isn't he?
Is that the room where Yoda was teaching the younglings also?
No.
No, it's not.
No,
Okay.
definitely not that room. But it's amazing how many connections are actually in this episode. So after he finds out all this information, he realizes that they want her to do this mission, and he finds out that it's her old flame, and he's kind of ticked. And this is another scene from the prequels, basically the Senate scene, right?
Yep.
And he basically tells her, "You're not doing it." And she's like, "Excuse me," and she turns it around on him, like you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if it was because she actually really wanted to do the mission. I think, a lot of it more had to do with like to push back. It wasn't, it was more like taking a stand more than like actually caring about the mission.
Yeah, I agree.
It wasn't until they started arguing over it that she found out that, Rush Clovis was possibly a traitor. And then, maybe her interest was genuine at that point.
Right.
But initially it was more like revenge based or getting back at him in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So here they are. He almost even gives up the goods too. He's like talking about personal things, and Yoda's like, "Well, why do you care about her personal matters?"
Yeah.
Even Obi-Wan like raises his eyebrow.
Oh yeah, he was getting really flustered.
Yeah. Check this out. Are you seeing this scene? Look at 3PO there hitting on the Betty Bot. He's like, "What's up?" I like this image because there's
actually, is that pretty much just like a bunch of senators?
Yeah. There's Bail Organa back there.
Because I can see there's
Jar
Bail,
Jar.
then there's
Jar
like
Jar's
Jar
there.
Jar, King Ram all the way off in the corner.
Yeah, King Ram. Yeah, they're all in there.
I was really looking forward to making a King Ram. I might do that sometime.
Yeah, she's cool, isn't she? We have an episode coming up with her, so you better jump on it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, she's coming up.
Hopefully, I have the parts.
In about 5 episodes, so you got time. So here we see Padme, and she's sitting down with a gentleman. Enter Rush Clovis, debonair Rush Clovis. Isn't he like look at him, he's like got his boy band hair and everything.
And his like extreme collar that like goes out like 5 million inches from his face.
And this guy's part of the banking clan, basically. I think that the banking clan is
run by the Moon, or I don't know, Moon.
Right.
For all those people out there who don't, I don't know. I'll pronounce it a few different ways in this episode to satisfy everybody.
I like Moon. I use Moon all the time.
I use Moon.
Moon?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So here's Rush Clovis, and this is going to lead me into my next custom that I have. I thought I would make this guy kind of hybrid, if you will. So I did produce this guy, and I used can you tell me what body I used underneath there?
Nope.
It's the Brainy, the Brainy guy from the cantina.
Oh, from
Rick, you mean?
No. No, from
the cantina.
From
okay.
Legacy Collection. The green guy. No, he's got a green outfit, but what is his name? Well, I can't think of it right now.
I don't know.
So here is Rush Clovis, and I just basically just resculpted a lot of things. The head is a Duke head, so I used a Duke head.
Oh, from G.I. Joe?
Yeah, from G.I. Joe. There he is. There's a full body shot of him. The little details on his outfit were a pain in the butt, but I just thought I'd make him hybrid, make him look a little bit more real. He sits on my hybrid shelf. I don't know about you, but I have a couple different shelves. I have like an animated hybrid, and then I have an EU shelf, all kinds of different crazy shelves. So that's where he sits. And a lot of this stuff is straight up fix it. We've talked many times about how this stuff can get pretty hard, almost like resin. And,
like a rock.
Yeah, like a rock. Yeah, I've even chipped it at one point on one of the corners, and I had to go back in and fix it. I had to fix it. Yeah. So here we have Anakin, and this is him just getting all angry. you see him get angry.
He didn't do very well in his undercover role.
Yeah.
He almost blew his cover several times in this episode.
Oh, did you get a screen share of that one time in the ship ride to Canyon Moria where Clovis tried to kiss Padme and then he turns the ship and he completely falls and
first he breaks the harness on the chair so they can't sit next to each other.
Yeah, he's and this one's crack broken.
Yeah, this was a really cool figure, wasn't it? We don't necessarily need to make this guy simply because they already made him, and it actually comes with the ship that they're getting into. Only it's in mini rig style.
Yeah, it's I know it's a cool ship and all, but
it's severely scaled down.
I wish it was made to scale. That would have made it so cool.
I agree.
I agree. I would have liked it to scale, but I mean, we don't really get anything to scale. I mean, we sometimes will. Get it.
We haven't even got one thing to scale yet.
I think of. I don't know.
Man, this should be a show of people trying to think of stuff that they actually made to scale. It's impossible. The snowspeeder, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny that the snowspeeder they actually had to shrink it down to make it a little bit more realistic scale, which was interesting. But are you still with me?
Oh yeah, we're here.
Awesome. So here we have Anakin flying the ship, and this is right after what you were just talking about, where he goes and he breaks the chair, so he physically cannot sit next to her because he's trying to smooch her, right?
Oh yeah, he's definitely making the moves. He's like, "Whoa, while we're traveling, let's make out."
Yeah, and Anakin was not having it, so he turns the corner sharply, and it throws him on the floor, and then he turns it again. And he throws him into his seat. So that's kind of one of them corny moments, I guess. But all is well in the end. And there's Typho again. How many times have we seen Typho? I'll tell you.
Yeah, right? I didn't even realize how he really did get a lot of play.
He sure did. I know you have shown yours over the last few times. I can show mine real quick.
Yeah, I like yours because you at least painted yours. I just did a quick head swap. My figure took a minute. You at least took the time to repaint it, and I just like the especially the blue sheen that you got on the chest where you had almost an iridescent blue. That was how did you actually get that shine like that?
I just dry brushed it basically. If you're looking at what I'm sharing right now. I just dry brushed it with a light bluish green, and then and that was over kind of a dark color. So I came up with that sheen that you're looking at. I don't know what paints you use most of the time. I go with Games Workshop.
The Citadels?
Citadel paints, yes. The Citadel paints, simply because they give you that a really flat-based look. If you're looking at this, folks, one of the things I would emphasize is know your paints. Know the type of paints you need to use for your characters. Obviously, you don't want to use a gloss on somebody's face, right?
Yeah. Gloss is good for the eyeball, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. Or a Death Star Trooper. You probably want to use it on his gloves and his boots, but probably not on his. Yeah, you could use it on the helmet, but probably not on
the ones with the big ball.
Right.
Those weird helmets.
Exactly. So here's another shot that we see.
I love the cities in Canyon Moria. They're so pretty. Imagine that. It's kind of scary though. If one of those cables breaks.
Yeah, there goes the whole city, right?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. It's very familiar. They clearly must have taken these photos from Revenge of the Sith. Check that out. Remember that? Remember that shot?
Oh,
What's
does that mean
going on
Plo
there?
Koon died on Cato Nina Moidia?
Yes, that's exactly where he died, unfortunately. Spoiler alert!
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Revenge of the Sith, then you shouldn't be watching this show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what it was, and this was not actually Plo Koon's starship. This was actually the Arc 170.
Arc 170.
Yeah, that was following behind them. You know what I really wish they made, and we'll show them later on down the road as they come out, that the precursor to the Arc 170, or even the X-wing fighter. You know what I'm referring to? That ship. It looks almost like an X-wing, but it has the same paint job as the Arc 170.
The Z95 Headhunters?
Yeah.
I think they were. Oh, they were headhunters, weren't they? Or
Yeah, that was one ship I always wished that they eventually would have made as a toy,
yeah,
because I thought they were so sharp looking.
They were cool.
yeah. When they brought them into the Clone Wars, I thought they looked great. Thought they looked really good. So here we are back on Cato Nemoidia, and man, here we missed our second opportunity to make some Betty bots. Look at how awesome those are. They must love
They are cool.
gold on Nemoidia, because they got these golden Betty bots. Those are so cool. And there's that awesome.
Perfect for 3PO.
What's that? What's that?
Perfect for 3PO.
Yeah, right. And he actually is on this trip as well. So is R2. R2 and 3PO are on the ship, right?
R2 stays back on the ship though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sure does.
3PO actually comes inside, and
Yeah. And we come to find out that Rush Clovis is actually working with the Separatists. There's Poggle the Lesser there. We haven't seen him since the movie, but obviously this takes place before the movie. Or no, it takes place after episode 2, but not before episode 3. So now we're seeing that he has either the funding or the plans for the factory that's going to be put on Geonosis. This is actually the precursor to the next arc, which is the Geonosis arc, which is, isn't that like made up of 4 episodes, did we say? Or 3?
Yeah, with that one I think it would, well, if you add this one it would be 4, wouldn't it?
No, it would be 5. It would be 5 with this one, if we added this one, because we have all the other ones. We have Landing at Point Brain, Weapons Factory, Legacy of Terror, and then Brain Invaders.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Legacy of Terror, that's why.
Yeah. So we'll be getting into that, and this episode kind of leads into that. They're basically setting it up for this factory that's already there, basically. He's just trying to work some kind of deal or something, and we come to find out that he's involved, and she finds out also, and she's kind of upset about it, basically.
He wasn't really that involved though. Like, he was going there. Let me finish. Yeah, because if you notice, the Separatists were going to poison her for leverage against Clovis, because they were worried that he wouldn't he wouldn't get on the same page as them. And they were like, well, now we know this guy's weakness, we could use it against him.
Sure.
I think they were actually concerned that he wouldn't give them the financial backing that they needed for that weapons factory. So I don't really know, you come off thinking that he was going to work with them, but they had their doubts. They didn't feel like, it was a sure thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they poisoned Padme in the first place.
Yeah, they didn't like a senator being there, one that's caused them problems.
As a rep.
Yeah, caused them problems in the first place. So he decides, Dodd decides that he's going to give her a drink and to celebrate their friendship, yet he's definitely poisoned that drink. So she's definitely...
I think he poisoned the rim of the glass because he drank it too.
Yeah, he was showing her that everything was good to go. she would have probably not trusted him, I think. So here he offers up this glass and he poisons the rim, and she drinks it, and obviously she's not feeling good. But she goes through with the mission. I love this picture. Check this out. She's trying to figure out the passcode, and she goes, "Oh God, I hope it's not Padme." And she goes, "Padme." and sure enough, it's Padme. The code word is Padme, and she grabs the secret disc, or the information holo disc, and she goes and she gives it to Anakin. And here's Anakin, and this is that part you were talking about, Elias, where he
walks in on them.
When he walks in on them, right? Wouldn't it have been cool? I flubbed this a little bit. If you saw.
Yeah, the second time he walked in on them, Lotus wasn't as lucky. And the bonus content, they got into a pretty big fight.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Wouldn't it have been cool if while Anakin rolls in and you see a little bit of dark side, this happens? Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that have been cool?
How did you do that?
I work in Photoshop. It's just a little tease, but
yeah.
I wonder if we would have saw that more, if people would have been more excited by seeing that dark side come out. What do you think, Elias? Do you think it would have been cool if we saw little glimpses of Darth Vader come out of Anakin a little bit more?
I don't know. I mean, you kind of saw that the second time when he fights Clovis, a lot.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like this Clone Wars actually did a really good job of showing his slips to the dark side. Yeah.
It makes the transition a lot more clean.
Yeah. Yeah, but she reassures him definitely that she's just hugging him so she can get the plans to him. He eventually gets them in his hand by using the Force, and he takes them to the ship, but he doesn't realize that she's poisoned. So right after he leaves, she falls ill. So he takes her to the medical bay or whatever, and Anakin comes back and he's like, "What's wrong with her?" And he's like, we have to take her to Coruscant because that's the only way we're going to get her better. And he puts his hand on his shoulder. He's like, "We need to take care of her because I love her." And he's like, "Get your hand off me." And that's what you're seeing right here. You're seeing a younger man get jealous, get upset about it. So that's the image I was showing here. And basically, in the end, Lock-Dod rolls up, and he's like, "What's going on, Clovis?" And he's like, "You've poisoned Padme. Give me the antidote, or you die." And he pulls out that little weird gun.
Yeah, those things don't look like they'd actually do anything.
You know what it looks like? It looks like the noisy.
It looks like Satine's deactivator that she used in all the little fighter droids and that.
It's the very same thing. Yes, it's the same gun. But
what are you going to do, zap Lock-Dod to death?
Yeah, right? I was going to say it looked like the noisy cricket from Men in Black. Have you ever seen that movie?
Not in a long time.
Yeah. Well, he gives him this tiny little gun, and it's called the noisy cricket. And it's just this tiny little gun, and it just fires this giant a laser bolt out of it or something. I just thought that was humorous. It looks a little bit like it. So
I want to make that dude right behind Lock-Dod with the pancake hat.
Yeah, Sib Kane. That's Sib Kane.
He's in a few episodes.
Yep. He's in a really good one that I like in season 3.
Oh, when they kidnap the chairman's daughters.
Yes, Spear of
I really like that one.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
I do.
It's still coming.
Go figure that shall not be named.
Yep.
Not yet, at least.
That's right. So here at the end, he's like, "Well, where's my disc? I got you the antidote." And there, once again, is another Padme outfit change. So we've seen, what did we see? 3 or 4 outfits for her?
4 in this episode.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And she can just jump right in and out of them. You know, the scene changes and she's in a new outfit. It's hilarious. So they basically leave him behind, and they realized that they were being jerks to each other, basically, at the end. She's like, why did you doubt me? And he's like, I've never doubted you. And she's like, good. So they end up with the information, and they leave Clovis behind, and man, he's in a heap of trouble. I thought.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yep.
A lot of battle droids.
Anakin was right saying, I have a lot of faith in your survival skills.
Right.
He got himself out of it somehow.
I don't know
how, but
I do not know how, because I feel like he was done. I felt like this was one of those instances.
You did too. Like when you saw the end of that episode, you're like, oh, he was like a one-time.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it to that guy.
When you see the battle droids walking up, you're like, oh, there he goes.
Right.
The end of it.
Man, I'll tell you. Yeah, I thought he was done for sure. But I suppose he was just too important a character, because, like you said, we're gonna see him again, aren't we? And he's gonna challenge them one more time in a big way. One more time, it's gonna just push Anakin over the edge. But we'll get to that as we move on. Short and sweet. That was our show. That was Senate Spy. Thank you for joining us, Elias. Really appreciate you being here, giving your insights. And
he picked up on a lot of stuff that I never would have caught.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm kind of glad we had him on here, because if you'd asked some of those same questions to me, I would have been like, we would have gotten crickets.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
what? Yeah. So just a great episode. Like I said, no violence whatsoever. I mean, there was a gun pulled out, but not a single gun fired, not a single lightsaber ignited.
It was a passive episode.
Yeah, really passive episode based on an old flick from a long time ago. Notorious by Alfred Hitchcock, 1946, long before all of us. So. They do that from time to time, don't they? They take these old movies.
I liked it. They incorporate a lot of old.
Seven Samurai.
Oh, I can't wait to get to that episode.
That's going to be a good one. Yeah.
Kira Kurosawa.
Yeah. So there it is. Like I said, my name is Chad Peak. I go by Peak Obi-Wan, and you can find me on Peak Obi-Wan Custom Creations on Facebook. Also, you can find me on Clone Wars Custom Action Figures on Facebook. And I'm also on Instagram now. And you can find me at Peak Obi-Wan Custom Figures. Where can we find you guys?
You can find us at the Customs for the Kid blog at www.customsforthekid.blogspot.com. From there, you could get links to our Facebook page, Twitter page, Tumblr page, Google Plus page, Instagram page. Pinterest, YouTube,
everywhere.
Very good. Very good.
We're not on Flickr.
We're not on Flickr.
And pretty soon, I just got a commission for Zero the Hutt from Jimmy Mack from Rebel Force Radio, and I'm gonna probably do a quick tutorial series called Making Zero. So keep an eye out for that. It should be coming sometime soon. But yeah, keep an eye on the YouTube page for that.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. Well, have a great night, folks. Thanks for joining us.
May the Force be with you.